Welcome to Ubuntu TV. Today I'm here with Indira Rose. Indira, could you please share your story?
Definitely. So it all began about 3 years ago when I became very unwell. I'd had a hysterectomy when I was 42 and I kept getting sicker and sicker a few years back and started urinating blood. Went to the doctors and they did some tests and exploration, found out that doctors had put a mesh inside of me when I was having a hysterectomy, which I didn't know about, and it had eroded into my urethra, 5 centimetres of it, so they had to get that out because it was life-threatening. So I had surgery to get the 5 centimetres out of my urethra, and I woke up from that surgery. I could barely walk. I was in absolute agony. And it's now become apparent that a lot of nerve damage was done in that process. But what actually happened, I went back to the doctors and they gave me some pain medication, and then I went to another specialist and they gave me some more pain medication, and then another specialist and some more pain medication, all being opioids. So I was under a lot of doctors, and by this time I had a pile of scripts like this of opioids, and I was on an absolute cocktail of opioids by this time because they just kept pumping me with opioids and I just kept taking them because the pain was just getting worse, and I could literally feel myself dying. I really could. My husband says now, when he looks back, I was grey because I was on about 5 different types of opioids, and all my senses were dulled. I absolutely had no emotion, and quite frankly just had some very, very dark days. It was just, they were just not agreeing with my mental state, and I could feel I was totally losing myself. But, I also had to give up my job. I couldn't function. So it just took away, these medications took away, it felt like all of me, like my soul was gone. Yep. Basically, I couldn't function, I couldn't work, I couldn't be the mother I was, I couldn't be the daughter I used to be, I couldn't be the friend I was or the partner I was, because I was just dying inside, so to speak. And then a friend of a friend actually said, "Have you heard of Church of Ubuntu?" And she rang me up and spoke to me about it, and then I come in here and then I had my interview and what have you, and started on the oils, which turned my life around and basically saved my life. And I remember that transition of coming off the opioids and increasing the CBD to help with the pain. And I remember once I was off all the opioids, I went outside to my husband, I said, "Have these trees always been this green?" Because when I was on the cocktail of opioids, my whole world was grey. I was just dying inside. And then off opioids and using CBD, and my life I've actually feel like I've got my life back now. I can enjoy things where I couldn't enjoy anything because I was in pain and my head was fried. I was just, I had suicidal thoughts while I was on all the opioids, and now I'm able to live a normal life again. I've still got some injuries, but the oils certainly keep me very well managed and balanced, and helped in so many ways.
I remember you sharing your journey along the way, and particularly your concerns about driving. Could you tell us more about that?
When I was on the opioids, I would take my daughter to school and I would get home, and this is a true story, I would think, shit, did I run over anybody today? Because I felt I could have actually hit a person and not even known, and that was legal, and my parents, God bless them, they're even in their 80s, and they could see me dying on these opioids, and they actually come to me and said, "Have you thought of medicinal cannabis?" And I said, "I'm actually already on it. I was just starting the transition." And I feel much safer driving with, just taking CBD, and I've totally, can focus, whereas on opioids I couldn't. It was a dangerous situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good we're so grateful that, you know, we've been able to assist you that way. What was your quality of life prior to coming to see us compared to now?
And I had no quality of life. I would actually take my daughter to school, come home and get in the driveway and think, did I run over anybody? And then I would go to bed, set an alarm to get up to pick her up from school. And that was, so no quality of life. And now I can function normally again. And, you know, I've had another surgery since. And my husband and I worked in conjunction with the hospital, and I used CBD and didn't require hardly any opioids at all, because I could feel what that did to my body. I also, when I was on the opioids, I had thrush. I was an absolute mess, you know, and now I feel back to me. I've got myself back, and I can be the best mum I can be now for my daughter again. And then coming off them, it was like a whole new reborn again, and I can function normally and reasonably, you know, pain-free. But it's certainly enhanced many aspects of my life. I know my mental well-being's better for CBD oil as well, you know.
Yeah.
My skin, yeah, it's the whole package. It completes the whole package of wellness.
Excellent. We're so happy for you. That's so good to hear, and it's good to hear, hear the dramatic change, because you were really were in a bad way when you first came to us. You were struggling to.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys in one way or another. But I wouldn't be here. So I'm totally forever grateful that you saved me.
Excellent. So are we. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us today. It's going to give so many other people hope. As a community, we consume cannabis as food for the nutritional, medicinal and disease prevention benefits. And the main common denominator for the thousands of people that have come through our community is better quality of life.